Okay, so my apologies this time of the sound quality because it's out of battery. Well, I can actually try to turn it on and see how much battery I have. No battery. As soon as I will start recording, it will turn off. So anyway, I will try to buy battery, so the upcoming video will maybe contain a much better sound quality than right now, because this car is obviously soundy and so on. So the technology of I will try to drive slow. The technology of plant life, the technology of nature. The nature is a highly advanced technology. Just right now I was like a little bit sleeping, and now I'm going to the seminar where I can teach. Well, I'm not the one who teaches. The people in the classroom will start teaching, learning, channeling. So I'm just telling what you should do, and they're learning by themselves. And so I was a little bit communicating with myself, and it's like asking myself questions and asking Enrico a couple of questions. I was like thinking, there are like people who, including myself, try to find technology in nature, such as all the pyramid technologies and the Asian technologies. Like, you know, there's some kind of pile of rocks and somewhere in the desert, and we are looking at them and trying to figure out what sort of technology is it, how was this technology used, and how is this technology benefiting, and what is it actually doing, and how does this actually work. And then the answer from Enrico was, well, yeah, or myself, doesn't matter at this point, because I was not doing any communication, I was just daydreaming, you would say, was that, well, basically we are trying to look at technology like this, you know, some kind of a super technology, but we do not realize that we have super technology, advanced super technology in our own very houses, in our own very in our own very flats, how do you say, and these technologies are simple. These are plants. We have plant lives in our even in our backyard, and even when you go outside we have like a zillion type of plant lives, and we do not look at them as technologies, you know, just a darn plant, whatever it is. We don't look at it as that, but we should realize, and humans should realize, as I had a channeling session maybe a week ago, yeah, just exactly a week ago, and there people started to ask questions to Enrico about nature, about how nature supports, and there were questions also about ayahuasca and stuff like that. And Enrico was dumping off the topic of ayahuasca, and he said that he doesn't see any need for somebody to use ayahuasca. And there was a man asking, like, is ayahuasca, like many people start to puke or choke, or how you call it, like vomit, when using this ayahuasca, and some may interpret this as being something highly cool, that you vomit and there's some kind of energetical background to it. And normally we also drink beer and we start to vomit if we drink too much. So I'm just kidding right now. So just the approach of it. And Enrico was saying that, well, basically you should understand that this is but this is commercialized. And this ayahuasca therapy costs a lot, but he didn't say that. What Enrico said, I want to just say the word as he said. What Enrico said is that, well, not all the time this vomiting experience is related to some kind of energetical experience. And he said, well, he doesn't like what he's seeing. The ayahuasca is like, I don't know, the name sour in taste, and he's like, blah. And he said that we, or the people who invite people to these like groups of ayahuasca therapy, you would say, they do not pay attention to the need of ayahuasca, like not like need, but the it's commercialized. He didn't say commercialized, but what I understood, it's commercialized because he said that normally there are several plants in this ayahuasca therapy, and some of them are not harvested in appropriate time, because normally you should harvest in just like a certain month, not like, you know, throughout all year, but in a certain month. And he said that the plant has to be fresh. It has to be fresh in terms of just like a baby plant, just grown plant, like. And he said that the older the plant is, for example, if the plant grows and then it stays for a while, well, the plant is growing, it doesn't grow anymore, and the plant stays, Enrico says, gets more and more sore, and the more and more sore the plant gets, the more and more unpleasant the energetical experience may become. So what he said, these plants has to be harvested in a precise time, so that the plant is still fresh, it's still new, and it has the crystallized energy within that makes the plant an experience of the you would say ayahuasca therapy much in a positive energy. What I saw, if you use a sour plant or almost adult plant, you would say, or elder plant, for the sake of the years, it's just I do not know how to use the language. You get like an disgusting experience. But if you use a baby plant, like a fresh plant, harvested in a precise date, and I believe the people who use who have the background knowledge of plant therapies, they already know what I'm talking about. Then, because one girl in the channeling class, she was familiar with this, and she agreed to that. And then you know where to harvest, you know how to harvest, and you'll have, was what I received in images, you have a highly pleasant and a positive energetical experience. But because it's highly commercialized, the audience just, or the group, the organizers that organize these ayahuasca therapies, they just take these plants, whatever, just buy them, and we use them, and it's like go to the supermarket, buy them and use them, don't pay attention to it. And it's not how it's done. It's like and also they were talking about cycles in life, that, and this is what I want to share, but it's a much longer video, so maybe you will need to listen much longer. Then Enrico started telling about that we in the region of Latvia, which we have right here because the people were in Latvia, you have a highly advanced and much greater power in the nature plant life that you can possibly manage. It's like, why are you looking somewhere else? Because you have this highly advanced nature life here in the region that you call and remember Latvia. And he said that basically you can understand, and he started, and it got really emotional when Enrico paid his attention to the grasslands that we have, like plain grasslands, farming lands that we have. And he said it's like a unbelievable universe. It's like every grassland, every field of grass, every forest field is another universe. It's a completely another universe. And you have to understand that all the plant life that you have here in life, every plant that grows here in life, is a highly advanced technology that consists of those chemicals, that consists of those benefits like vitamins, nutritions, and so on, that are here to help you all the time, and they are willing to help you, and they're screaming, hey humans, we want to support and help you. And this is the point where I understand that, and this completely changed my opinion, my point of view about life, that well, I accepted always that you cut down a flower and you nearly killed the flower. So, but the plant life here on Earth, and what I've saw also in the, I will call it just heaven for a term of simpler explanation, that also I saw a sheep there, but there were many people also, and that sheep was eating grass. And I was like, oh my god, crazy, that sheep is killing grass. It's like, how is that possible? But what I understood now, but what I saw there is that the grass and the sheep is eating, and the grass is donating herself with highest love that possibly can be, and also the nature here is supporting us and are assisting and will assist with highly huge love, the nature is here to donate herself, the nature is here to give itself to you, and it's happy to do that, and it's so happy to do that. It's like something like simpler, like mother and a children. The mother will do everything to support the child like a baby, and it's the same, and it's even much more than you can possibly manage. That's what I realized, that all the plants, and we are humans also, we are here for a period of time, and we are not here to like have a infinite lifetime. We are here to just be on a short period of time, and everybody is here up to a short period of time, and everybody knows the source where we all come from, and everybody is willing to aid and assist you and help you in all possible ways. And this was also the same as Pleiadians when we first were channeling about the no money society system, and the Pleiadians were talking and sharing the idea, what they were sharing, that, for example, this is a funny image. For example, if a Pleiadian guy from another planet wishes to give you, for example, food, like for example potatoes, and humans, we here are like, okay, how much I need to pay you, and thank you and thank you and thank you and so on, and how is it in English? And he said, you don't have to thank us, you don't have to pay us, don't how you call it, it's like not unpolite that you do that, it's like you spoil your reputation. No, it's like a well-known word, but I don't know it right now. You no, not like disgrace, you, anyway, I don't need anything from you, I want to just give it to you. I want to give it to you that it helps you. I want to give it to you, and giving gives me a highly blissful feeling that I can do something to help others. And it's a completely different point of view of life, and and this is the overall planet Earth. Mother gives everything. Its overall plant gives everything. Its overall, the nature and everything gives everything to you. You just have to take it. Just allow it to take it, and it will give, and the plants will give, and it will have a blissful feeling of that it can share, donate herself to you. And it's just like incredible. It just completely changed my point of view. But we humans are driving with cars and just crazy. We are like, we're creating our own medicines, like we are sick of something. We have a 21st century complete illness, amnesia, and idiotic thinking that we have right now. But anyway, I will continue this video. I'll go and have a snack. Bye. So continuing about this topic, I had a nice meal, and I ate delicious plant lives, and so I stopped about, yeah, the nature is all around supporting us. The nature is all around and is willing to support us, but we are like using some kind of a medicine, some kind of a pills, some kind of a therapies and massage, something, and this is absolutely crazy, and it's unnecessary, because the Enrico was sharing well, how you can call it, a plant, for example, a flower. Actually, the topic was much wider, and I have only 10 minutes now of driving to explain to you. For example, a plant, a flower, it has the chassis of the plant are created in a way. For example, you can understand a plant or a flower as an incubator for a small part of nutrition that is in the essence of the flower. Where, for example, the bees take the honey, but what I understood, this is a little bit different. Maybe some professional or some kind of biologist may put some additional information, that not always the plant has this nutrition that is in the flower, for example, that is the essence of something. Many times it's, for example, how you call it, a small grows in the tree. I forgot the name in English. How is it called? And this fruit is a professionally made, technologically made incubator that there's juice inside, for example, but there is also a small amount of extract of a chemical that can be used for us as healing therapy. In terms even much powerful than the classical medicine that we have right now. And we need to extract it and use it. And then and every plant life has, every tree, every plant has something that we can as humans use in sake of also healing or psychological or a meditational experience, whatever. The nature is full of it, and it's supporting us constantly. And he was telling also, I don't know how it in English it's called, a plant that grows, and when you touch it is like ow, and it bites you, and then it itches for a while. It's a popular plant here in Latvia. It grows nearly everywhere. And for example, they said that it looks something similar to mint, but and then later I was like figuring out, but the all symptoms or the all information they were sharing was also from the color, from everything, was really close to mint. Then I was thinking maybe you can, if you practice this, you can try it also. The peppermint and this biting plant, whatever, like noddle or lot. I was searching on Google later what is it, and I forgot the name in English. In Latvian it's nātre. The magic of making a medicine potion, for example, is you go to a forest or grassland, where there's a bunch of crazy grass growing on. You step into this field, and then you open up. You don't need any books of which plant helps for what. You don't need all of that knowledge. You only need to have a taste. Something like, the great chefs, how they make food, they do it with feelings. They talk with the food. They smell the food. They taste the food. They touch the food. They have a sensational experience with it. You go in the forest. You open your energy field up to this sensational experience of it, and plant will respond to you. You keep in mind what sort of healing do you need. You hold this in your mind. For what patient, you hold this in your energy field. And when you go into this grassland, you're like a wizard that smells, sees, and touches, and allows himself to feel more of this plant life. Allows himself to touch more of the plant life. And by doing this, he starts sensing, and he starts, in a sense, through telepathical, energetical experience, talking with these plants. And while he's talking, he will have the exact plant what it's needed for the therapy. And Enrico said that, and I truly agree that this is how it's done. And Enrico said that maybe 30%, maybe less than 50% of the therapy, it's not even the plant that you pick up, it's the energy that you put in this plant. And what he was sharing also, different images later on, was that, for example, I took a wrong turn, whatever. That, for example, you take this plant and you take it home with this noddle or this nātre or this biting plant. And this biting plant, you need to he said that you need to keep it in a warm temperature for a longer period of time, to make it ready, to make all the benefits or the nutritions of this plant to go and merge together with the water. And he said that the water will start turning dark brown. The water will start turning brown. And what you then do is you take this. What happens is that in a temperature that's not boiling and it's not cold, it's warm temperature. and later I had the additional information that it's 35 degrees, and this is a beneficial temperature, because what he said, at the 35 degrees the water doesn't boil out, and all the minerals that are in stay in the water. They don't boil out with the water, they stay in the water. So it's a like a golden ratio temperature for making potions. You don't boil it, you keep it warm, and so warm that the good things out come from the plants. It's like the temperature is so high, but then yet it's not boiling to take out the beneficial parts of the plants. So yeah, so what happens next is that you put this mint or this nut or this biting plant, how we call it, in the water for a period of time, and then you use it and you give it to the patient that is your patient. And what happens, when Enrico said it happens, is that this is a starter kit. No, he didn't say a starter kit, but this is a starting yeah, not like a starting kit. And what happens is the patient in his energetical field becomes relaxed. He becomes physically relaxed and lets go of everything. He becomes like in a highly sensible calmness state he enters. And what then happens is that the patient is ready for the next potion, that is a healing potion, because if you use this healing potion just instantly, it will not have such a great effect, or maybe no effect, but you need to prepare the patient so that his biological body allows the medicine or the potion that you are making to take effect to. So it's basically a relaxed state that he allows the medicine to take effort or effect. So okay, so what happens next is that while this witch or this nature sensible energetical person is making her next potion, the witch, let's call it a witch because it's more simple to understand it, but in a sense you and me, we are all are the same witches as in this story, because you and me and everybody can do this. We start going in a trance state. We see all the plants that we have took from our walk where we were, and we start feeling the energy of the plants, and we are going in a trance state with those plants, and we are just like spinning our hands, and we are looking all around, and we are feeling what we need to make. We start to feel what we need to make. We don't think, we don't read any books. We start feeling that this patient has a fever, and we feel the energy in this patient, and we need to find something that resonates with this energy or reduces this energy in the sake of stance, and we start receiving sensations. What we need to do, we start tasting them, and we start seeing, okay, now we cut this, put this together, boil them, close open everything, and we then voila, and everything is done. And what happens in this state is that what I got from this information was that not exactly the plant helps this patient. It's less than 50% what helps, but the person who is in this trance creates energy field for this potion, and the person drinks this energy field, and this energy field is like a program that the patient's energy body reacts to and starts changing and adapting to new energies. So this plant also helps him, but this plant carries the energy what the witch was making, and this is well, I don't know how much beneficial it is in terms of healing process, but this is highly beneficial. It opened up me a great insight about nature, that nature like how was it called? Beers, fruit berries. I forgot the name. I think you know the name, but I forgot the name. Is here to help and sustain, and it's a highly advanced cosmical technology that we have right here. And all these small fruits, everything is here, and they have this energy, they have this chemicals inside our body that are here to help us. So what I want to share is that the next day I will continue this video after the channeling lesson. What I wanted to share is that the next, it was like I started to cry how much love is in the plants. I started to feel the emotion. I started to feel how it's not an accident that these plant lives are here. It's a highly advanced technology that throughout the ages it grows. Throughout the ages it's here to help us, and we need to just use them. We are here to live the earth life. We are not here to spoil the earth life. And the nature is the only thing that can help us, because nature is created to support us. And it's a completely different point of view. And then I opened up my refrigerator next day, and I saw this. In Latvian they call it upenes, a small fruit that grows in the trees, literally black, pink, dark pink like, dark blue like, dark black like, whatever the color. And I was like, so I'm not sure where I left about the topic about nature as highly advanced technologies, but I sure remember a couple of things which I wanted to share. Was I left about the small fruit, it's just berries. And I forgot the name, how silly it was. These berries that grow, and I found them in my refrigerator, and they are, I saw that at my very own refrigerator there are these highly cosmical advanced technologies of super laboratories outside where cosmos, where this highly advanced technologies, masterpiece, their own developed masterpiece is here in my refrigerator. And then look how there's berries in a jar like jam stay, and I'm like amazed. I've never looked at nature so in such a way that how valuable it is, how beneficial it is, how it supports our life, how you know, there are so many chemicals inside that our body just is meant to use, not like cola, not like burgers, not any of that. Is just completely junk. I don't know why people use this. And well, maybe they start looking at life in a different way when they start seeing how these nature berries and nature stuff, plants and fruits really help humans. So and I was thinking like, well, yeah, maybe it's different from the continent in which you live, because what I expect when I was in UK, maybe some 5 or 3 years ago, I don't remember exactly, I take a look at the jam. When you eat bread, you can put something, a jam over, or it was yogurt. I don't quite remember, but what I do remember, what was written on the back side of it: artificial this, artificial that, artificial I don't know, orange taste and so on. I was like, hey, but are they making fruits, jam like fruit, jam made of fruits, or they're trying to, hey, no, let's not make a jam out of fruits, let's make it completely opposite. Let's try to make a yogurt or a jam called like orange yogurt, for example. It doesn't exist, I know, but I don't remember what I was exactly eating there. But let's try to make it completely opposite. Let's try to make it completely not originated from nature. Let's make it with everything we can to not be a fruit-based jam. And they're like, oh yeah, this is highly exciting. How can we do this? Well, let's go just to China. They have all these artificial food, tastes, flavors, and everything. You know, there are many people who still think that the juice that you can buy on the store is made out of fruits. And I know one person, my friend knows one person in Latvia who is one of the largest Jewish supplier here in Latvia, and it's in Latvia you can find many things directly from nature. It's not like UK or America where nobody grows them. In Latvia it's highly available. You can find it, and there are green stores, and there are grandmothers in countryside that make all of this fresh and directly from the yard where we grow it. So I think Latvia will never have a food crisis, because everything is own grown, own developed. Anyway, so what happened there about the Jews is, he said that juices are imported from China, and it's not that they import juice from China, they import some kind of acid, highly strong acid from China. And what this acid does, you mix it together with water in a small proportion, and you get something that tastes like a juice. But what happens if this acid drops off, for example, on a ship container? If the acid drops on a ship metal, the acid will start to burn through the ship's metal. So it has to be stored really properly, because it's a highly concentrated acid. So in other words, I don't think that fruits contain acids and they go on trees, and they don't contain acids that could break through metal. And this is something like, hey, what are you making there? And so forget about juices, just a bunch of mixed chemicals together. That in other words, it would be more simpler for you to say a juice that tastes something like orange juice. And the terminology of a juice is mixed chemical acids imported from China, like a chemistry box that tastes something like orange juice, something close to it, or something near to it, or something that is just called orange juice. Okay, so continuing the story about the channeling, I was really amazed. I was still amazed that all of these cosmical laboratory plants that we have here, the technologies, they contain a small nutrition part in the plant that can help us to increase eyesight, that can help us to make our health better, also for smelling, also for tasting. Another thing about the plant life was when I saw the shaman, the witch, or the lady that does the ritual of creating that potion, that understood that this is the absolute easiest way how we can learn channeling. Everybody can learn channeling, is that you open up to your senses while cooking, for example, while making meals, while painting, while going inside the nature and viewing and opening yourself up to the nature, and start talking and sensing the nature which is all around you. And this is something that nature has built in directly into us. This is something that we can do exactly, and this is something that everybody do, and it's like a built-in ability that we have. And it's not only like a built-in ability that we have, it's also that our ancestors, our elders, have used it day to day, and it's in our cell memory, it's here in us, and it's much more easier then to develop this ability, this telepathical communication, in a way of using the nature elements. And what I saw and what I felt is also that when I went cooking the next day or after the channeling, I was like looking at the environment which I have there. I saw many, like for example, vegetables, and I was like, and I feel how that tastes, I feel how this tastes, and I'm like, okay, I can mix this to that, mix with this. And then I saw some other flavors there, and I was like, okay, I can use this also. And instantly I felt the energy feel all around me, and I start tasting it, I start feeling it, what's happening, what's in the environment where I was cooking. And I was like, man, if you just open up to this feeling, you can go in a highly trance state. Not even talking about making food, but also talking about making these potions. That is something that the nature can just take you and support you and assist you. And it's like a completely different way of cooking. It's a completely different way of making these potions and medicine also. Okay, so yeah, so the nature element has these chemicals inside, these nutritions or nutrients, how they were telling, that they can aid and support, but we need to extract it in a precise way, how they were talking with this natra, this keeping in a temperature of 45 degrees and use it to relax the person. And then they were talking about different classes of plant life. One class is physical effect that we have, another class is emotional effect that we have, and something like also like calmness, relaxed state, something like emotional, something like this. And by experience yourself, you can find so many plants that have these states that they affect and what they affect. And also there were what I saw later was just a small from a special tree, a small red branch, a small red branch from a tree. I don't know which tree was it, but I understood that it's somewhere here in Latvia, it grows somewhere, just a small branch. And in wintertime there was a lady that boiled these branches and drink the potion from these branches that is extracted, and she never felt cold in winter. The branch gave her some kind of energy, something like a chili pepper which we eat, and this energy gives us inner heat, inner energy, inner heat that we always feel warm. So for example, imagine how many things we can use in nature that support us, that gives us so many benefits. We don't need house heating, we don't need this, that. This is what many times Enrico was telling us also. Hey, give us a free energy device. And he said, yeah, you don't need energy as much as you use. You just need to come down to a focus of what is and what actually do you need. And then you will realize that there is actually really less from the electricity that you really need. So so this question is not in topic of discussion, because the more energy you will have, the more you will use it in outrageously inefficient ways. So in other words, you will become more and more destructive in manners. And so talking next was interesting information. I'm sorry that I cannot recall all that information that was there. The next information interesting was full moon cycles, and that was something that I observe really closely these days. And there were states that I felt whether there is full moon outside or whether there is empty moon outside, but now I just feel it much more, because what they were telling is that from empty moon, when the moon turns into a full moon, is a state where you put in your energy, where you start working, where you start seeding, where you start putting in your job, like investing job in something, putting your energy into a work or into a job. Full moon and empty moon, it's like a weekend. You don't do anything in these periods. You relax, you stop working. And from it's like a period of 3 days, like a period of 3 days. I think the full moon is and empty moon is. And then from full moon to empty moon, like from shiny moon to dark moon, you have this taking back your investments. Like for example, if at the first case you seed in, you put energy inside, like you try to plant something for growing, for example grain, you plant in grain, you do it in the cycle from empty moon to full moon. And harvesting, but it's not related only to harvesting as food and plant lives, it's related to working. And harvesting your invested work is from the full moon to empty moon, then you harvest. So for example, it's like two different types of energies that you put in, and I was always thinking there's some kind of energy in full moon, there's some kind of energy in empty moon. But the elder, which we had, the ancient Latvian woman, she told that it's a cycle that they were always keeping an eye on, because at the full moon they don't do anything, because the full moon energy gives you distractions, it gives you inner tensed feelings, it gives you, and you can mess up pretty badly the work you are doing, and they always try to avoid this, and that's why they divided these periods of cycles. In other words, they don't have any clock or anything, so they were observing the moon more closely, and it was like a cycle for them. Okay, so I will continue this video in another 10 or 20 minutes after this period, so thank you for listening and enjoy your time.